to green and do that, it's dead certain you found your way to the Hut 100. Through 43 previous runnings, the Indiana Classic has attracted the legendary Broad Sliders. For years, the late Rich Vogler reigned as king of the Hut 100. He won it a record and remarkable 8 times. Banging wheels is just part of the fun on the Vigo County Fairgrounds Oval. Last year, Tony Stewart and Kenny Irwin exchanged love taps. Then Tony streaked to victory. Note the hat. They call this place the action track, and the action is wild. This is going to be good, ladies and gentlemen. The USAC National Skull Midgets have come to the dirt for the 44th running of the Hut 100. And when these cats come to the dirt, I mean the Thunderheads come out of the woodwork. We're at Terre Haute, Indiana, live on the Deuce. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Despade. Welcome to the action on Thunder. This is one of those good news, bad news, kind of nice. We got some good news, bad news stuff going here. The good news, well, the good news is the racetrack for openers. The Vigo County Fairgrounds, the action track. It's a half-mile around, flat as a pool table, about a city block wide, meaning you got 5, 6, 7 racing lanes. No, action here is just frantic. And the race, that may be the best news of all. The Hut 100 over the years has attracted all of my heroes. Tonight, they have come from 11 states and from down under to do battle here, racing for one of the true USAC Classic Championships. And while we're at it, let's take a look at how this thing works. It's a little different format for tonight. We have already qualified the top 9 drivers. They're locked in for the feature, and Tony Stewart, who, as you'll see in a moment, has the hot hand at this joint, will start on the pole. We have run one of 2 10-lap semi-features. We'll show you the highlights. We're just about to go live with the second of those 10-lappers that will set the remainder of the starting field of 33 cars, and they'll go 100 laps. There's the fast cat here. He is undefeated through his last 3 starts on this racetrack. But the bad news, this is our last chance to do this year, ladies and gentlemen. Our final Thunder of the year. But hey, when you do it for the last time, let's do it in style. And the Hut 100 is certainly that. I have with me Sandy Dunn, our stage manager, through 13 Thunders this year. The good news is the action track people are really behind this deal with the Thunderhead T-shirts. And look at the back. Happy birthday, Bob Jenkins. Lots of good news. We got a great race on a great racetrack and Jenkins' 30th birthday. What more could we ask for? Let's go topside and hear from the boys. Bob Jenkins, our Thunder anchor, and the 3-time USAC national champion and former winner of the Hut 100, Larry Rice. Guys?
I am not. I'm still 29, thank you.
And counting backwards for
well. Thanks, Dave. Hi, everyone. I'm pumped, too. This is going to be good. We are set to go with the second qualifying race, 10 laps, top 12 transfer. Lineup, Tracy Hines, Steve Knepper on the front row, Carl Olson and Ryan Newman in row number 2. Nate Law and Andy Mishner will go from row number 3. In the 4th row, Roger McCluskey Jr. and Bruce Donaldson Jr. The 5th row, Marty Davis and David Bridges. Row number 6, Jack Hewitt carrying the in-car and Jimmy Kite. The 7th row, Steve Barth and Tony Elliott. Back in row number 8, Jimmy McCune and Tim Dietz. The 9th row, Kenneth Nichols and Tom Seiner. The 10th row, Ralph Carmichael and Scott Wyatt. And all alone back in row number 11, the 78 car of James Trickle. Jack Hewitt, as we said, will carry our in-car camera for us tonight.
Yes, Jack's had a kind of a tough year this year. He's led a couple of races. He led DuPoint last Monday until the engine blew about 40-some laps into the race. He was leading another race not too long ago, and the engine blew there at Eldora, the one we televised. So it's been a tough year for him, but he's looking for bigger and better things here tonight, and he's going to carry our camera and hopefully ride along with him.
And up on the front row, we have Steve Knepper, who one of those visiting from out of state, and he always runs good here at this racetrack.
Runs very good here at this racetrack. He runs good at all the dirt tracks around the country. He's running Mike Stryker's car tonight. I don't know how often he runs that car, but not real often. I'll tell you what, though, he's always tough when it comes to dirt track racing.
Let's get the name pronunciation right. It's James Tickle back in row number 11, starting scratch. Here comes the field out of corner number 4, looking for a green flag. Green is waving, and our second 10-lap qualifying event is underway. And boy, these guys at the back are going to be trying to move up through the field. And look at this.
4,
Whoa,
5
we got a
abreast.
problem.
They tried to get 5 abreast down here, and it's Jack Hewitt. He's right in the middle of that. There were 4 cars in there, all trying to get through a small hole. It just closed up. The inside guardrail you can see down there, it just got too close to somebody, and once one car spun, everybody else just couldn't make it through there.
Well, Tony Elliott is also involved. So is Kenneth Nichols and several others. So
Steve Barth, I see sitting there in the yellow number 14. So they're going to have to get, that's Tom Steiner out there, I think, in the red number 15. So they're going to have to get all of these guys repositioned. And let's take a look from Jack Hewitt's point of view. He's down on the inside trying to get through. The cars in front of him make contact. He has no place to go. And then everybody behind him just kind of gathers up and bangs into each other trying to miss the accident.
Well, the car right ahead of Jack Hewitt was the 76 of Marty Davis right there on the inside. There was simply not enough room for 5 cars to get through there.
Marty Davis and Mark Bridges got together. Jack Hewitt had no place to go, got sideways. Along came everybody else with the track blocked, and it's kind of like a chain reaction at that point.
And so that's what we have here in the very first race. We have just begun. Everybody's going to try to get restarted. Don't think anybody was damaged badly in terms of equipment, so we're going to see a complete restart in just a moment. Stay with us for more Thunder from Terre Haute Action Track. We'll be right back.
We're here to tell you about AbWorks from Nordic Track, the advanced abdominal exercises. AbWorks is fun, it's new, and it's hot. Get AbWorks for a smoking new waistline.
Tone up your body with AbWorks by Nordic Track.
Look better. Sculpt the abs of your dreams. The ultimate ab machine is here. AbWorks by Nordic Track. It's the new way to firm up and flatten your stomach, to look and feel better. AbWorks is designed to strengthen and condition your entire waistline, the upper, lower, and side abdominals, while it supports your head, neck, and spine for a safe workout. Work your entire waistline in just 5 minutes a day, easily and comfortably. AbWorks is so advanced you can train upper and lower abdominal muscles simultaneously or separately. The choice is yours for the ab workout you want.
AbWorks isn't a gimmick or fad. It's scientifically designed to target the abdominal muscles to bring out the best in your abs. And it really works.
Finally, with AbWorks, you can effectively work your abs with complete neck and back support.
Get yours for only $119.95 or 4 easy payments of $29.95.
Call now to order and get this free workout video with complete instructions for 15 AbWorks exercises, plus my 20-minute aerobic workout. That's everything you need.
Get the abs in the shape you want. Tone, strengthen, define a sleek waistline. Get the only ab exerciser good enough for the Nordic Track name. Try it for 30 days, and if you're not completely satisfied, return it for a refund. Launch yourself into fitness. Get AbWorks by Nordic Track. Call now to order the complete AbWorks system for $119.95 or 4 easy payments of $29.95. Get the only ab machine good enough for the Nordic Track name and the free AbWorks video. Call right now.
Get AbWorks.
We're back live at Terre Haute, where the bad news is 5 cars didn't get through the first lap. Elliott, Nichols, Barth, Hewitt, Steiner, all tangling right back here. The good news is they're all gone. Nobody's car is hurt. They've all been pushed away. They're going to have to go to the back of the field. We're just 1 lap away from going back to green with the field intact. Guys?
So we're off to a rather auspicious start here tonight. Let's hope for better things down the road. As Dave said, though, everybody is okay mechanically and set to go once again. They'll be going green in less than a lap.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Hewitt to come all the way from the back, though. It's a long way. You got to finish in the top 12 in order to make the feature race. So it's going to be tough for him to come through the pack and finish back up there. He's still sitting in the infield, as a matter of fact. He has been pulled back inside. I thought they had all restarted at one point, and he's evidently had some trouble pulled back in the infield.
Well, as you indicated, it's been a tough week for Jack Hewitt. We'll try to document later how badly things have gone for him recently. Had a flip at a race in Bloomington last week, went to DuQuoin and was leading that race and fell out, and now more troubles for him tonight. Green flag comes out, back to racing. Look how high the track is up at the exit of turn number 4. Down into turn number 1 again, 4 and 5 wide as they go down the backstretch, and it's no start.
Steve Knepper in that white car was trying to get up on the cushion. The cushion is a long way out on the racetrack. It's a long way out there. But if there's any moisture out there, it might be the fastest way around. The starter Shipman did not like the start. You can see right there, Knepper fell way back, and that's red car, I think, is Andy Michener in that red 26 car, who was clear back in the third row and was jumped way up in front. He got a terrific start, but they decided not to let it go, so they're going to try it one more time.
One good thing about this racetrack, it is wide, and so you have lots of room to avoid trouble ahead of you if you can, but sometimes it's just impossible.
Well, the bad news is it sometimes gets real narrow in a hurry. That's when you get in trouble. We're riding along here with Roger McCluskey Jr. Of course, his father, a very famous race car driver, former national champion, and Roger, a pretty good midget driver in his own right. He does everything on his own, kind of a low-budget operation compared to a lot of these guys, but he sure loves to race.
Roger McCluskey Jr. has the inside of row number 4 starting position. Let's see if we get a green this time. Down the straightaway they come. Green flag is waving. A little bit better start.
You can see right here, it gets awful close when you get down in the corners. McCluskey clear down to the bottom, trying to get a shot off of the corner. Still running in about 5th or 6th spot as he goes into turn 3.
Jack Hewitt has a flat tire. That's what's put him on the sidelines. We're still riding with Roger McCluskey Jr. as he tries to work his way into the feature race. Up front, we got a great battle going on. That is Steve Knepper in the white car and Tracy Hines in the black car. And Knepper has the advantage at the moment down the backstretch. Andy Michener there on the outside.
Andy Michener clear up in the middle of the racetrack, the place that usually is not that good, but boy, he is just flying. He's found a little moisture up there in the middle of the racetrack, and he just flew by those guys.
They have put gallons, hundreds and thousands of gallons of water on this place in the last 36 hours to make the racing surface the way it is right now, and it's a good racing surface at the moment, and it is Andy Michener that's found a place up high. Now we see Ryan Newman in that white 18 car working the low side of the racetrack.
Boy, you can see how nice and wide this racetrack is. 3 grooves wide as they went through that corner right there. And it's really, you can run any place you want. Look at Newman. He's right on the bottom, the place that the guys were getting past earlier, and now then he's going to the front, running right around the bottom of the racetrack.
And it looks like the Tracy Hines is losing positions here. That's Carl Olson in the 17, the yellow car that's trying to get around him on the inside. Hines holding him off for the moment. And Nate Law also there in the blue car, number 34.
Right, Nate Law from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He hasn't run midgets for very many years, but right now he's right up there battling with the front guys. Newman now is moved into 2nd spot. Knepper back in 3rd. Now it looks like Knepper's going to drop back down to the bottom.
Here is Knepper on the low side, working that inside. Look at Tracy Hines come through there.
Tracy Hines just split him. He went right through the middle of them and went around both of them. It looked like going through 3 and 4.
Great battle for 2nd position as Andy Michener leads. 2, 3, 4, and 5 are running right together. And Hines has the advantage in 2nd position, and a big pile up down here in turn number 1. Steve Barth among those involved in the yellow number 14. Looks like Kenneth Nichols also.
That is Tony Elliott in the white number 32, and I think that's Tom Seiner in the red number 15. So those 4 guys all got bunched up heading into turn 1, and all 4 of them ended up against the fence or near the fence up in turn number 1.
4 laps have been completed out of 10. 4 out of 10 completed. Let's take a look and see if we can determine what happened.
We just got a couple of guys together, 2 of them turned around backwards, then everybody else just trying to miss the melee. Steve Barth just spun. Tom Seiner in the red car spun. Ooh, Barth hit the wall back up there, backed into it pretty hard, and Seiner drilled into the 16 car of Nichols.
And from another angle, we'll take a second look at it.
It looks like the black car on the inside got up over the other car, and I couldn't see the number on that black car as he went up over the wheel, and he got sideways. They're coming into the view right now. Nichols, Elliott, and Barth, all 3 were spinning, trying to miss the melee. Seiner the same way, and boy, he hit him. You don't realize how fast these cars are going until something like that happens, and all of a sudden, man, they really look like they're going quick.
So 4-car pileup down here in turn number 1 has brought a halt to the racing momentarily. The caution flag is out. 4 laps have been completed in this second 10-lap qualifying race to determine the starting lineup for the Hut 100 coming up. Dave?
Let's see if we can't get a quick word with Kenneth Nichols. The remarkable thing about this is that 4 of the 5 guys involved were the same 4 involved the first time around. Going to dodge out of the way here so we don't get run over. Kenneth Nichols, can you give me a view of what happened here, how this thing started?
Twice in a row I had a crash in front of me. I missed it, but the guys behind me didn't miss me when I was missing ones in front of them, so the way it goes.
Is it hurt too bad to continue?
Yeah, it is tonight. It's not terminal, but we don't have time to fix it before this race.
One of the former winners this year on Thunder. Tonight it's bad news for Kenneth Nichols. He's done, and they're still working on the rest of them here to figure out whether Tom Siner is going to be able to restart. Likewise, Elliott, but I think Barth is going to make it. He's already been pushed off.
Andy Michener is the leader after 5 of 10 laps. Tracy Hines runs seconds, then Steve Knepper, Ryan Newman, and Carl Olson. We'll take another break and be right back.
Ever wonder what makes Ken Griffey Jr. so sweet?
I feel a lot of love in the park today.
It's his honey frosted Wheaties, frosted flakes with a grand slam taste.
You know, you should smile more.
Honey frosted Wheaties, it's sweet energy.
The new Coors Light can is attracting a lot of attention. It has a wider mouth, so you can enjoy more of the cold taste of the Rockies. Get ready to quench your giant thirst with the new wide mouth can from Coors Light.
If you do this, you need this. Spiraflex abrasion, skin saver, and blister dressings get you back in the action fast because Spiraflex helps you heal faster, reduces pain and scarring, and protects up to 7 days.
This is the 44th running of the Hut 100 from the action track Terre Haute, Indiana, and it's been a wild one, not only in terms of flips and crashes and troubles on the racetrack, but also the fascinating story of where do you want to run? Is it going to be the top or is it going to be the bottom that crowns the winner of this event tonight? We're going to take a break and come back with more. It's ESPN coverage of the 44th running of the Hut 100. We'll take a commercial and be back with more from Terre Haute, Indiana. Stay with us on ESPN.
Back at the Terre Haute action track for the Hut 100. We're in a qualifying race at the moment with 8 of 10 laps completed. Steve Knepper the leader. Tracy Hines, Ryan Newman, Carl Wilson, and Nate Law are the top 5.
And obviously I was wrong, Jack. You was out of the race. It's the other blue car in this race. It's Nate Law in that 34 car that's going around the top side of everybody early and back there in 5th spot right now.
All right, green out again. Only 2 more laps to go in this race, but a series of incidents has slowed our pace here. Steve Knepper trying to hold off Hines there for the lead.
And look at Nate Law again. He just passed 2 cars. He was in 5th spot on the restart. He's now up to 3rd, maybe back to 4th now, but he's really running the high side and seems to be running it almost as well as Andy Mitchell was a little earlier.
1 lap to go, and it's obvious that when we get to this 100-lap event that you're going to be able to run both high and low and make it work because Nate Law is doing quite well up there on the high side. There's Knepper, there's Hines, the battle for 3rd. Nate Law up high and Carl Olson down low. This is Tracy Hines, broad slide through the 4th corner. Knepper wins the second 10-lap qualifying race. There is Hines finishing 2nd. Olson was 3rd, and Nate Law, I believe, finished in 4th spot.
Yes, he did. And the racetrack is wide. There's 2 or 3 grooves out there. There were guys running right on the very bottom, guys running up a couple car lengths. And then, of course, way up on the cushions, Steve Knepper in the Mike Stryker built car comes home the winner, though, and did a very nice job. He's top on the dirt. Always has been very top on the dirt.
Ryan Newman finishes in 5th position. In 6th spot would be Jimmy Kite. Then 7th, Marty Davis. 8th, Roger McCluskey Jr. 9th would be Bruce Donaldson Jr. And finishing in 10th position would be David Bridges. That's unofficial. Let's give you the other 2 transfer spots. Number 14, Steve Barth, came back to finish in a good position after all. And the 12th position, we believe, might go to Tim Dietz. We'll check on that, however. All right, no question, though. It is Steve Knepper who has won the second 10-lap qualifying race here at Terre Haute. Back with more on ESPN2's Thunder.
You love Jock Jams Volume 1. Now, ESPN and Tommy Boy Music give you Jock Jams Volume 2. I like to move it, move it. Jock Jams Volume 2. more of the hottest crowd pumping jams of all time. Jock Jams, Volume 2. Available in record stores everywhere.
This is how we do it.
Don't get the classes I want. Won't graduate on time. Can't believe they're raising tuition. This is not working. But this will. Classes I need to graduate on time, and no surprises about tuition. Works for me.
Call ITT Technical Institute at 1-800-942-0099. That's 1-800-942-0099.
Body of a pickup, soul of a race car, horsepower by the truckload. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series presents the Fast Smart Truck Shootout 200 from Richmond, Virginia, tonight at 8 on ESPN2.
We're back live at Terre Haute. Tony Stewart led the last 6 laps of the last race here in 1995. All 100 laps of this race a year ago, and 30 laps in the last race they ran here. Nobody else has led a lap at this joint for a long time. You're going to lead 100 here tonight, too?
I'd like to. At $12 to lead a lap plus $5 grand for this deal, it'd make a nice little payday tonight. But we'd like to keep this string of consecutive laps going. We've led 136 consecutive laps here, and you know, I think we got a good race car to do. But there's a lot of tough race cars out here tonight.
Who besides Kenny are you worried about?
About 10 guys, to be honest. You know, Steve Knepper's been a past champion here. Kevin Doty, Billy Bowe. You know, Billy and I have had some really good runs at Ventura and Irwin. You know, there's just a lot of good cars here tonight.
He needs to get busy and go to work, so we're going to get out of his face. That is Tony Stewart. He starts from the pole. They're about to push that car off, and the field's starting to form up here. 33 cars. It's a huge field for Terre Haute, but as we've already seen, it's a big racetrack. It's a wide racetrack. Look at him pull that strap down. Ugh, that hurts just to watch. Jenkins could never do that with all that birthday cake in his belly.
You got that right. 11 states and New Zealand represented here tonight. Good field of cars. You know, we start off the Thunder Series by checking out the Western States midgets and doing several shows from Ventura. Well, Bakersfield Speedway hosted the USAC Western States School Midgets last Sunday night. Let's take a look at what happened. 6th fastest qualifier Gary Howard led the others to the green flag in the 30-lap main event as Jordan Hermansader in number 91 and the previous night's winner in Ventura, Jay Drake, battled for second. 8 laps in, and Drake had had enough of second. He moved to the lead as Richard Griffin in number 36 joined the fight behind. Billy Bowe ended up against the wall and in 15th place, but is still very much in the points battle. Drake's night ended when a tire blew, handing the lead over to Hermansader. Shane Scully had worked his way to second when his drive line broke going down the backstretch. He parked the car along the front stretch and fell to the ground after exiting the car with an injury to his left foot. There were only 2 laps to go, so USAC officials decided to call it a race at that point, with Hermansader gaining his 4th career victory and 2nd this year. So Jordan Hermansader wins. Jay Drake has the points lead, but Boat is only 15 behind. Leffler is 3rd, Hansen 4th, and Shane Scully 5th. And Boat told me tonight that, yeah, since he's close enough, and since he tore up his sprint car a few weeks ago, he's going to go for the championship.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
6 through 10 in the point standings. Rick Hendricks, Kenny Irwin Jr., Johnny Kofer, Wally Pankratz, and Larry Brown. And it's amazing that Kenny is 7th in the points, despite the fact that he hasn't run a whole lot of races out there on the West Coast.
No, I don't think he's run out there. Well, I think some of those races out around Belleville counted towards that, so that's probably the reason he's back up in there.
They'll race at Paris Auto Speedway in Paris, California, Saturday night. They're at Madeira on the 21st, and they return to Ventura on September the 28th. That's the Western States Skoal Midget Series. Cars are being pushed off here at Terre Haute for the big 100 lapper. We'll take another break and be back with more in just a moment on ESPN2's Thunder.
You want real? I'll give you real. Flora Service, fullback. Flora doesn't create wins, she prevents losses. She's the last line of defense between the other team and highlights at 11. That's real. After protecting her team's gold and self-esteem, she needs food. Real food. Real like a $4 Boston Market chicken carver combo. For a limited time, $4 gets her a chicken carver Sammy, side order, and drink. Then what? She's serving up a few dirt Sammys of her own. Eat big, eat real, eat a Boston Carver.
greatest fighters on Earth, this is where you'll find them. Tekken 2, powered by Namco.
I try and think about what's the most important thing to me. For a long time, it was heroin, but it's not anymore. It's not the thing closest to my heart. My baby is. My boyfriend OD'd about a month after the baby was born. And when the police came, I was high, and they took my baby. And I'm not allowed to see her, but I love her, and I'm gonna try and get her back.
Vogler won the Hut 100 a record 8 times. 6 here at Terre Haute and a couple of times when the USAC Classic went on the road. Back in 1987, the race moved to the Indiana State Fairgrounds 1 mile dirt, where John Heitreich was first to the checkered flag. The following year in nearby Putnam, Bill Vogler sliced up the traffic to win. He repeated in '89 at Lawrenceburg, avoiding incidents like this. 1990, the race came back to Terre Haute. It was won by one of the most accomplished USAC drivers of his era, and a guy who has been reasonably successful since. His name, Jeff Gordon.
And I'll bet young Jeff, who is no longer young Jeff, is watching tonight.
I bet he is too. He loved the dirt. He loved the midgets, and obviously he's gone on to bigger and better things. But he was a real treat to watch running around here in the Midwest.
And it was also nice to hear during NASCAR Today last Sunday that another NASCAR Winston Cup driver, the driver of the 17 car, whose name escapes me at the moment, also watches our Thunder telecasts. Well, the field is getting assembled here, and we're not too far away from a green flag.
Yeah, it won't be long now because they've got them all going as we're taking a ride from inside Roger McCluskey's cars. He's going to be starting back. Where the heck is he?
Row 8.
Row 8. He's going to be a ways back, so it's going to be quite a view from back there as he's got a whole bunch of race cars in front of him.
Good mix of chassis and engines on hand here tonight.
There are 12 different engines here tonight. I think the Gertys and the Bradens are the most dominant manufacturers or builders here. I think there's 12 Gertys, maybe 13 Bradens. But the first 2 qualifiers are Ed Pink Fords. Those 2 cars dominated the qualifying. I think Earl Gerty's getting ready to build a Ford engine next year just because these Fords have done so well this year. Those 2 cars are beast-powered cars. There's a battle of the engines. There's a battle of chassis as well as a battle of drivers. Those first 2 cars are beast chassis that Bob East has won, I think, the USAC Championship 5 different times. But the 3 of the next 4 cars are built by John Godfrey. They're stealth cars, and those cars have been very successful. They've won the Belleville 3 or 4 times. They've won the Chili Bowl 3 or 4 times. Rusty Coons always has run this kind of car, the Gerty Stealth, and they've been very, very successful. So it's going to be an interesting battle of these first 6 or 8 cars with the variety in the engines and the chassis.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the 44th annual Hoosier Lottery Hut 100. Tony Stewart, Kenny Irwin, and Jason Leffler are on the front row. Row number 2, Robbie Flock, Dave Darlin, who is also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Dave. Starts in the middle of the second row, and then Billy Boat. Row number 3, Russ Gamester, Roger Corrigan, and Kevin Doty. The 4th row, Randy Cook, Steve Knepper, and Corey Kruzman. 5th row, Tracy Hines, Kevin Olson, and Carl Olson. They're not related. The 6th row, Donnie Lehman, Nate Law, and Kevin Thomas. Row number 7, Brian Newman, Dan Force, and Jimmy Kite. Row 8, Dan Dryden, Roger McCluskey Jr., and Andy Pierce. In the 9th row, Bruce Donaldson Jr., Brian Gerster, and Marty Davis. The 10th row, Dean Billings, David Bridges, and Todd Thielen. And in the 11th row, Steve Barth, Jimmy Davies, and Ralph Carmichael.
One more thing on the Gerty engine. They just told me a while ago before the race started that 4-cylinder Gerty set a record for 4-cylinder engines out at the Salt Flats in Utah last week at 156 miles an hour with gasoline. So those things are pretty fast. These little 4-cylinder engines make a lot of horsepower. It doesn't matter whether it's the Gertie, the Brayton, or the Ford. They're all making a lot of horsepower. Tonight's wins money up for grabs. Tony Stewart, Jason Leffler, and Randy Cook are the 3 guys available for the wins challenge money tonight's race.
Sit back and relax. Get set for a 100-lap USAC midget race at the Terre Haute action track. The Hut 100 is about to roll. We're going to go racing in one more lap. Tremendous history associated with not only this racetrack, but this race itself. Since 1953, they've been running in the Hut 100. Taking a look at some of the recent winners. Tony Stewart won in 95, Doty in 94, Stewart again in 93, Knepper won in 92, Stevie Reeves, now in the Busch Grand National Series, won in 91, and Jeff Gordon was the champion in 1990.
Everybody but Reeves and Gordon are here tonight, so it ought to be very interesting, and I'm sure that Tony Stewart's going to want to lead into that first corner.
Here we go. The green flag is out, and the Hut 100 is underway from Terre Haute.
Man, what a sight. 3 and 4 abreast, slipping and sliding, dipping and diving. We got one car heading for the fence already. Looks like Danny Dryden in that yellow car.
Got out of the throttle, but I believe he picked it up and is okay. But look at the battle for position down in turns 3 and 4. Here they come to complete lap number 1, and it's Tony Stewart in the lead. Working the low side of the racetrack is Robbie Flock. And also down there is Jason Leffler.
Jason Leffler on the bottom. Looks like he came out the winners. He really pulled up there. That's Robbie Flock in that one car. Excuse me, that's Robbie Flock in the one car. It's Rusty Coon's car that pulled up lead the race.
Well, Tony Stewart's record is kaput because he didn't lead that lap. It is Robbie Flock who is out in front of the Hut 100 as we jump on board with Roger McCluskey, who started way back in the 8th row and has a long, long way to go.
And you can see back there from his perspective, there is a little bit of dust, and it's not real easy to see. It's the lights are a little bit confusing as you see it from his perspective. It's not quite that hard to see, but the dust is fairly bad. Looks like everybody's moved to the bottom of the racetrack, or at least most of them, as the yellow flag is out.
Oh, and Corey Kruzman has pulled into the pits. That's a tough break for Corey, who ran so well in the qualifying race, but he takes it behind the wall as the caution flag comes out for the first time.
Yeah, he's pulled in. Looks like he's definitely out as Ryan Potter goes around, takes a look, starts to unbuckle the hood. The yellow flag laps do count here in this 100-lap race, so he's effectively out of the race once he pulls in there.
All right, we'll take another break while we're under our first caution here at Terre Haute. The leader is Robbie Flock after 4 laps.
When I started losing my hair, it bothered me, and I finally got to the point where I just didn't want to think about it anymore. But I didn't want to do anything until I knew I could get the look that I wanted. The most important thing to me was the hairline. It had to look natural.
Hair Club for Men is proud to announce a technological breakthrough. Call our toll-free number now to receive your free copy of Hair Club's exciting new technology brochure.
I just love the idea that I can get out of the shower, towel dry my hair, blow dry it, and I'm gone.
So call now and get Hair Club's new technology brochure. You'll see before and after photos of men like yourself who have already experienced the benefits of this innovative technology.
I'd seen too many people that had tried surgery or products that promised to grow their hair back again. I wanted something that was simple, non-surgical, that would give me the results that I was really after.
Call our toll-free number for your free brochure, because Hair Club for Men really can make a difference.
This Saturday, ESPN2 kicks off with doubleheader action when North Carolina faces an early season test as they try to contain sophomore sensation Donovan McNabb. Then Coy Detmer begins Colorado's quest for the national title when they invade Fort Collins to battle interstate rival Colorado State. North Carolina, Syracuse at 6, Colorado State at 9. Saturday only on ESPN2.
We're back live at Terre Haute. Corey Kruzman came a long way to run mighty few laps there tonight. What put you out?
Well, unfortunately, we broke a mag cap right off the bat. Must have got a rock up there, but you know, car was running pretty good and long race to go, and unfortunately, we're out.
Pretty frustrating. Now that you're out of it, who do you think's going to win it?
Well, hopefully my other team car out there, Potter's other car, hopefully Darlin will do a good job, and at least we'll get to celebrate with him.
All right, Darlin's going to go for it now as we get ready to go back to green. Corey, bad break. Thanks for being with us. Cruzman will head back to California. We'll take a look at Darlin, and then we'll get back up topside and take a look at the action.
That's Russ Gamester running just ahead of Darlin on the racetrack. Let's take a look at the top 5 here. Again, these yellow flag laps are counting because of the total number of laps that we will complete here tonight, 100. It is Robbie Block running up in the first position.
And Gamester has made quite a move. He started back in the 3rd row. He started in the 7th position. He's already up to 4th. Darlin running in 5th. As you can see, the Tony Stewart's falling back to 3rd spot. Tony Stewart went to the top thinking that was going to be the fastest thing. You heard him telling everybody that's always the fastest way. Well, it seems to be a little bit far around up there, not quite as wet as he had hoped it would be. And the guys running around the bottom just snuck on by him.
Now, that's interesting. A couple of guys that Dave talked to before the race both indicated they were going to go to the top, and they thought that's where the fastest group was going to be. But apparently that isn't the case, at least not right now. But could it be later in the race?
Well, it might be. Right now, if everybody's throwing a bunch of marbles up there, it may not be anything up there to get a hold of. But if a couple of guys get up there and kind of dust it off, it can come in later in the race. But you got to get a few guys to go up there and dust it off first.
Kevin Doty, we understand, has dropped out of competition. We're about ready to go back to green. Here comes Robbie Block leading the others to the restart. And lap 10, green once again. Now Stewart once again goes up on top. Let's see if it works this time.
Well, if he gets up there and gets that thing dusted off just a little bit, gets a little help, it can be fast up there. There's usually more moisture around the top of the racetrack than there is around the bottom. And it's going to get worn out faster with all those cars around the bottom. But I don't know whether he's going to get enough help up there to dust it off or not.
But as you indicated, it's longer around up there, and so it may not be the fastest. Once again, we see Robbie Block leading. Jason Leffler right on his tail, and also down on the bottom is Russ Gamester, who has moved up from his 7th starting position to run 3rd at the moment.
Right, Dave Darland also up on that top, helping dust that top of the racetrack. Look how far it is. Look how how much farther it is around the top of that racetrack than it is around the bottom. And right now, Tony Stewart is holding his own. And I'm sure he thinks that if he can hold his own up there for a few laps, when he gets a little faster, when he gets a little slicker on the bottom, he's going to start blowing those guys off. Boy, did he get close to the finish there.
Did he? He really got the rear end of the car up toward the guardrail. Didn't lose a position. He continues to run in 3rd or whatever, but still way up there on the racetrack. What was the problem with Kevin Doty, Dave?
1994 winner of the race said it just started breaking up something in the engine. He thinks it's electrical. He's done for the night.
Too bad. Kevin Doty, former winner, out early in the 100. And once again, Stewart a little sideways getting off the corner. And Jason
Leffler. Boy, he wanted to stick his nose in there really bad. Thought better of it just at the last minute. Got on the brakes hard enough so that, oh, man. Block really protecting that position. It looks like Leffler's faster. There he goes. He snuck by the inside of him.
Yeah, nice move by Jason Leffler. Waited until the opportune time and got the nose of the car underneath Robbie Block. He takes the lead now, and Block becomes the pursuer. And now, once again, we see Dave Darland and Tony Stewart working up top.
Dave Darland running right in the middle of the racetrack, and all of a sudden, Tony Stewart and Dave Darland are right in the middle of the battle. It looks like they are getting around Robbie Block and moving into 2nd and 3rd.
Yes, indeed. Robbie Block loses some positions here. And now Stewart almost pulls side by side with the leader of the race, Jason Leffler, in the 3rd turn. They come out of the corner, down the straightaway, and that top groove is beginning to work much better for Tony Stewart.
Yeah, he got up there and he stayed up there. He had the perseverance to stay up there and get all the marbles off of the racetrack. And suddenly that top groove has come in and he is just walking away.
Tony Stewart takes the lead, at least momentarily, in the 3rd turn.
Dave Darland looks like he's running a different groove down there in 3 and 4 through the middle, and it looks like Block's moved up to the top of the racetrack.
Exactly. Robbie Block has changed his mind and moved from the bottom to the top. Now there's Russ Gamester there in the middle of the track. He got sideways, and speaking of sideways, we have a car that's sitting sideways in the racetrack. It looks like Dan Drynan.
It was Dan Drynan, and it looks like he's busted the front end on the race car.
And he throws the steering wheel off, and Dan Drynan is going to be moving himself out of the race car and out of competition. So Dan Drynan causes our second caution of the evening. Let's take a look at what happened.
Dan Drynan down there on the inside of the racetrack. He just got caught in behind a slower car, and when he spun around, along came Olson, and he just nailed him. And once he hit him, he tore the front end onto that race car, and I'm surprised Olson's still going as hard as he hit him, because he hit him pretty doggone hard.
Jimmy Kite made an unbelievable move to the inside of the racetrack, went between Drynan and the guardrail, and just barely made it, but he did. And Dan Drynan, now remember, suffered a severe leg and foot injury at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway during the month of May, and he's limping out of the race car.
Yes, he had his whole hip, pelvis, and everything broken there, and so I think that's why he's limping, not anything that happened here tonight.
All right, let's take another look at it from our camera in the middle of the front straightaway. Yeah, you see him getting, man, there is Kite going to the inside and getting by. So did the 83 car of Andy Pierce.
Yeah, both of those guys missed. You can see several other guys came pretty close to hitting him back there. I think that was Davies in the black car that almost caught him too. So,
Dave, go for it.
Well, last week, Victory Lane is the runner-up. This week, out early. Looked like you might have been a victim there, right?
Situation. Got in a little hot on the very first lap, and this car has incredible rear brakes on it, and it locked up the motor and killed it. And I lost about 20 spots over there. We were coming back up through there, got inside Olson. He was leaning on me a little bit. The MP Environmental Brayton was really running good. You know, we were coming back up through there, but the situation happened.
Where is going to be the best place to win this race? It looks like the tops come in pretty well, and Doney's real fast up there. Is that going to be the key?
I think so. I mean, trying to work back through traffic, you got to use the spots that you can, but it's nice up there right now.
How about the body? How you feeling?
Not too bad. It hurt a little bit when he swatted me, but we'll be okay. Just want to thank my crew, Jeff Dickerson and Robbie and the boys. They put a good car under me tonight. Dave Calderwood, thank you for giving me the ride. And too bad we came out this way.
You always feel those aches and pains worse when you're out early. That's Danny Drynan.
Out of the race, here's the top 10. Leffler leading, Tony Stewart second, Darlin, Robbie Flock, and Billy Bode complete the top 5. 6 through 10 at the moment after 19 laps. Kevin Olson, Russ Gamester, Kenny Irwin, Randy Cook, and Tracy Hines. We'll take a break. We're under our second caution of the evening in the 44th 100 from Terre Haute.
The silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. The new Coors Light wide mouth can is here with a giant opening for a smoother pour.
You're born, you go to school, and then one day, things begin to get interesting. Where there was once only a wall, there appears a door. You take a deep breath and walk through to the other side. Things are very different here. Now, instead of preparing, you're doing. Instead of waiting, you're moving. The stakes are a lot higher than they were in high school, because out here, the tests you're given are of your honor, your courage, and your commitment. This is your journey. It's time you got underway. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
Who will receive the ovation in Milan? The Grand Prix of Italy. Sunday, 7:45 on ESPN2.
We have completed one lap, and is that Dave Darlin at the top of the screen, Dave?
It certainly looks like it is.
Yes, it is. And the caution flag has not come out yet, but I believe it's going to. Now, that car is right at the exit of the pit area. It's not in any danger. But the caution flag is coming out. Darlin, for some reason, got up there in the cushion on that first lap of the restart, and all of a sudden the car went out from under him.
Right, it looks like he lost power as he's up there on the top. He came down the back straightaway. Looked like he and Stewart were going to move into first and second going down the back straightaway, but it lost power, much as we saw Andy Michener's car do. He tried to get up there to that gate so he could get off and not cause the yellow flag, but obviously they couldn't get him off and had to go yellow.
It's our third caution of the evening, and it involves one of those who was running up in the top 5. Boy, this is quite an interesting race. Now, there is the camera car that we have now, Nate Law.
And he's, you know, he's from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He came up through the mini sprint ranks, and he's been running it now for a couple of years. I think this is his second year with us with USAC, and been doing a terrific job. He really ran the cushion well in his heat race. As we take a look at Dave Darlin walking pretty dejectedly back towards the pit area, and Ralph Potter's cars didn't last very long this particular night.
We want to salute the people at CarQuest for the cage cam. They've been with us for the 6th year now, and always provide some great shots for us. And again, a tip of the hat and an extra salute tonight to CarQuest for providing the cage cam for us.
Well, I think they're probably one of our longest running sponsors. I know they've been here ever since I've been along, and they have done a terrific job with the cameras. Of course, Jamie and the boys at Hanlon do a great job too.
And there is the number to dial for the nearest auto parts CarQuest store near you, 1-800-492-PART. I've been looking up Dave Darlin here in the yearbook to find out how much older he is than I am.
Yeah,
he
right.
Was, he was born September 4th, 1966. So happy 30th birthday, Dave. You're a year older than I am.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
right.
Right. Well, we won't talk about it.
Okay, Stewart, Leffler, Boat, Olson, and Flock now are the top 5 with Dave Darlin out of competition. And Boat may be somebody to pay close attention to here. He's in that red and white car that's in the 3rd position there as they line up. There's Dave.
Yeah, he's already made his way up into the grandstands where he can get one of the cheap seats so he can see what's happening up there. But he's, you know, obviously he's not a very happy guy right now. He was running very well. But Billy Boat in that Rusty Coons car is going to be a factor. There's no question about it. He's a factor every time he gets to the dirt. And he's moved. He dropped way back at the beginning. He was back in 6th or 7th spot, and it looks like he's going to try the bottom, see if he can do anything down there.
Yeah, he sure is. Now up on top behind Stewart, Irwin and Flock are also up there. There is Billy Boat, and here comes on the low side of the racetrack the 66 car.
Yep, that's Kevin Holt. He's down on the bottom, and he's running pretty good down there. He's a guy that loves the bottom. He loves to run low and slow, as they say, and he's very good at it. See, he's so much tighter to the bottom than anybody else. He's getting the left rear tire down in the moisture on the very bottom of the racetrack, and that's what's propelled him up past some of these guys that are running high, wide, and handsome.
Kevin Olson started back in the middle of the 5th row, so he has made outstanding progress here in the first quarter of the race. And there's a great indication of not only how wide this racetrack is, but how many lanes you have to choose from. Tony Stewart has pulled away now, and we have a car over that has crashed in turn number 1, I believe.
Car looked like it got upside down there in turn number 1.
So the caution comes out indeed, and it's Steve Barth.
And Steve Barth has had a terrific night. He has been in almost every, he was in 2 or 3 crashes in his heat race. Now then he's been involved in this, which looks to be the worst clip of the night, as the whole front end of the race car is completely torn off. So Steve Barth, they saw him moving around in there. So hopefully that's a good indication that he's going to be okay.
Wow, a really tough night for Steve Barth. His car upside down in turn number 1. It brings out the red flag. Everybody has moved into the pit area, and we might point out at this time that work on the car is legal during a red.
You can do anything you want to the race car. However, if you change a tire, you have to go to the back of the pack. You can see Steve Barth now out. You can see the helmet down there. He's out talking to the guys. Here he comes through, heading for the ambulance. They're probably going to have a take him back there and at least set him down and take a look at him. You can see the crew members now heading for the infield. They're going to go down there and see if there's any adjustments. They can change any weight they want. They can change anything on the race car they want. However, they have ruled that if you change a tire, a lot of guys would, you know, especially later in the race, they'd put on a gumball tire to run the last few laps. Well, they've ruled that if you do put on a softer tire, a different tire, then you have to go to the back of the field.
Watch the upper right corner here, Larry, and maybe we can see Steve Barth's problem. It is not going to be easy from this angle and from the cage cam, but looked like that he was just by himself and maybe jumped the cushion upside down he went.
Well, it's very easy, as we saw Jeff Sands earlier. Once you get above that cushion, sometimes it gets to be real slick out there. You get above the wet dirt and you get into some stuff that's real marbly, and you get into the fence very easily. It did look like he was up there all by himself when he got into that thing, and you can see he was already up in the air and on the back of the car when that camera went by.
30 laps have been completed out of 100 under a red. Steve Barth flipping down in turn number 1. Whenever we have a car upside down, the red flag comes out in order to allow the safety personnel and the medical personnel to go to the scene of the crash. And of course, the safety of the driver is always the most important thing in this kind of a situation. Dave is standing by with the guy who's leading the race at the moment.
Probably safe to assume that Tony Stewart didn't want to see this red flag. He's talking with the crew and the tire technicians here about how the car's behaving. From what I saw in that last, here's Bob East sticking his face in. Now we'll get a quick word with Tony. I would say that car's working pretty good. You going to change anything on it?
I'm going to make a couple changes. You know, it's one thing to be good early in this race, but you know, we got 70 laps to go in this, and as the fuel load burns off, the characteristics of the car change. So we're going to try to keep up with the race car right now and keep up with the racetrack and try to plan for maybe the last 30 instead of the first 30.
Well, maybe this isn't such a bad break for Tony Stewart. Let's move around and see if we can get another couple of quick words here, as Tony says he'll make just a couple of tweaks. Looking ahead, right alongside is his teammate here. Let's stick our nose in and see what's going on with Kenny Irwin Jr., because this thing wasn't developing quite the way he wanted. What's going on with this race car? What are you going to do to it?
Actually, we're just going to take some right rear weight out of it. It's too loose coming off, and just get it tightened up coming off, and I think we'll be pretty good.
Well, those are the two teammates who are going to make adjustments to their cars. The red flag has not hurt them. We're going to get in a commercial break, and we'll check around and do a quick survey of what everybody else is doing and get back to you as we are under a red flag here. The Hut 100 stop with about 70 laps to go. A whole lot more action. Stay with us.
If you have one of these or one of these, then you're ready for the most useful tool ever invented. Introducing the Roto 7 Power Disc, a disc so strong it can cut through this hardened steel file, power through this brick, zip through copper pipe, and even cut through masonry with ease. The tempered carbide disc cuts right through this iron chain and shears off any nail in its path. Roto 7 not only breezes through ceramic tiles, but even makes rounded corners quickly and easily. Use it on your circular saw to cut smoothly through Formica. No binding, no kickback, and it always leaves a clean, smooth edge. But cutting is just the beginning. Roto 7 will sharpen your tools, even your lawnmower blade, and it'll grind just about anything. All your work comes out clean and burr-free. You get not one, but 2 power discs. And if you order now, we'll also include this Roto 7 sanding disc. Just look how easily it strips away old paint. Ordinary sanders keep clogging up, but Roto 7's open mesh keeps it running clog-free. You get all 3 discs for only $19.95. So order your Roto 7 now.
Call toll-free 1-800-892-1212. That's 1-800-892-1212. Or send check or money order for $19.95 plus shipping and handling to Roto 7, 2 Morgan Avenue, Norwalk, Connecticut. Or call now, 1-800-892-1212.
We're back live at Terre Haute. You can't change the right rear, so Billy Boat got a new left rear. He's won about everything there is to win in midget racing. Hasn't won the Hut 100 yet this year, though. He's going to take a shot at it. What do you think? You going to change the car?
Yeah, we're going to tighten it up a little bit. The racetrack is quite a bit drier than we anticipated, so we're going to try to tighten it up. You know, we got a real hard right rear tire onto the yellows. Hurt us a little bit. Takes me a few laps to get going, so, you know, hopefully with this red, a few changes and extended green, we'll be in good shape.
You feeling confident, then, that you can catch those 3 guys up front?
Well, we're real early in the race. There's a lot of race, you know, 70 laps left, so, you know, I'm hoping that, that they maybe come back to us a little bit, and we pick up a little bit of speed here after this red.
All right, that's Billy Boat. No, he won't be running at Vegas in the IRL, right? But he will be working on an IRL deal for next year, and they're hoping they can get that put together. We're going to go check with a couple other guys here real quick, and we'll get right back to you.
Well, if there's a guy that deserves an IRL ride, in my opinion, Billy Boat is near the top of that list.
Yes, and everybody thinks that Billy Boat's just a young kid that probably races all the time, doesn't do anything else. He's got quite a good business out in Phoenix, Arizona. He has about 25 or 30 employees out there. He makes all sorts of parts and headers for things like Lamborghinis and Ferraris and some pretty high-class equipment. So this is no dummy you're looking at there. He's a pretty classy guy, got a pretty good business going for himself, too.
Our racing has been brought to a halt here at Terre Haute because of a flip involving Steve Barr, so let's show you some other highlights from this past week. The Lawrenceburg Indiana Speedway has been plagued with rain all year. It hosted its first USAC Sprint Car race of the year Saturday night and honored the late three-time USAC Series champion, Robbie Stanley. Who succeeded Robbie as champion in 1994, Doug Coletta, was shaken but not injured after running over Richard Taylor's left front wheel and launching himself into a couple of flips. The feature provided some great racing. Dave Darlin is leading. Kevin Thomas and Mark Casella battling for second. Kevin gets sideways, loses the position. Now watch what happens as Darlin and Casella head for the checkered flag. Dave looks like he's got it in the bag, but Casella has the faster group on top, and Mark wins by less than a car length. It's his second win of the year and 51st for the Steve Stapp team. Brian Tyler finished 10th, but maintains the points lead over Coletta, Dave Steele, Brian Hayden, and Tim Cox. 6 through 10, Bill Rose, Jason McCord, Tony Elliott, Gus Wasson, and Trey House. And some upcoming USAC Stoops Freightliner sprint car action will be Saturday night at Louisville Motor Speedway in Kentucky. On the 13th, they begin their Western Spring with Williams Grove on the 13th and Tri-City Speedway in Franklin, Pennsylvania on September the 14th. All right, Dave Despain is standing by with Jason Leffler.
Well, Jason's not too dazzled with Tony Stewart's record of leading laps here. It didn't take him long to jump up there and say, well, I'd like to lead a few laps of the 100 too. He is to lead the last lap. What are you going to need to do to get there?
We're going to need to tighten the car up a little bit. You know, I really couldn't do the things I'd like to do on this stop here. It's a brand new team and everything, and we're just kind of starting to work together. But down the road, we're going to be pretty good together. We're going to ride a couple more races, but hopefully we can hang on, and you never know what's going to happen.
Looked like you changed your line a little bit there from what was working early. Was the track going away on the bottom?
Yeah, I feel it's going away. Obviously, Tony passed me on the top. It's just a matter of me getting my rhythm down up there and getting a little more finesse. We'll be all right.
All right, that's Jason Leffler, who's come all the way from the West Coast, currently running second. We'll see if we can find Olson here up at the other end of the pit area. We'll take a quick break and come back with more. They should be firing cars and getting back underway momentarily with the remaining laps of the 100 live on ESPN2.
They say America's schools aren't up to the challenge. They say no one is providing the kind of education students need to succeed. They don't know about ITT Technical Institute, where skills in electronics and other technical fields aren't just talked about, they're taught. Find out more about ITT Tech by calling 1-800-942-0099. ITT Tech, it's an education that works.
My son insisted we try America Online, and I said, what's in it for us? Now I know better. America Online makes our lives easier. It saves time and money, too. Look, I'll show you. Welcome. I don't mind saving for retirement anymore. I can research mutual funds, chart all my stocks, and do my banking all from home anytime I want. And there's more. Scan hundreds of magazines, get sports scores, enjoy hobbies, even shop online. So call this toll-free number and get everything you need to make your life easier and more fun.
To protect your engine, remember, pure oil now, pure oil later.
Pure oil later. Hey, it's our last race of the year, our last chance to get run over live on national television. Kevin Olson, you look like a kid out there. You're doing great.
Oh, I'm having a ball. This is great. I feel a lot younger.
You're sticking the thing right on the bottom. Is that going to work all night, or are you going to have to go up top?
Well, we're going to stick with it. It'll either work or it won't. You know, we're going to stay with it. We're going to live by it or die by it.
One of the most fun guys in the business right there, Kevin Olson's got a great run going. He's third, and he says we're going to make it work if we can make it work, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. He's third.
The 87 USAC midget champion. Didn't he have a business once that repaired burned-out light bulbs?
That's right. He's done it. He's run for president a couple of times. I mean, he's done everything.
See that big crane there in the infield? First of all, that's one of the last places in the world that I would want to be.
Yes. The good news is it's not thunderstorms. There's no lightning.
Yeah, right. Our hats off to Misco Ritz for providing that big crane that allows the gentleman up there to follow our in-car camera around, bringing you the pictures. Tom Charters, a special hats off to you from Misco Ritz. There is the CarQuest cage cam being carried by Nate Law. Now let's take a look at the top 20 as we're about to go back to racing with 30 laps completed here in the Hut 100. Tony Stewart and Jason Leffler are first and second, then Olson, Boat, and Gamester completing the top 5. 6 through 10, Irwin, Robbie Flock, Tracy Hines, Randy Cook 9th, and Steve Knepper is 10th.
Yes, and you know, Jason Leffler, a lot of guys are touting him as the next really big name in midget racing. He's really come a long way. Of course, he's kind of a protege of P.J. Jones, and Parnelli Jones have helped him a lot. He hung around their shop. He pushed cars for him. He did all sorts of things. That's how he kind of grew up in the sport. And a lot of people are touting him as the next really big name in the sport. And obviously, he's doing very, very well here tonight.
Well, the cars are being pushed off and the lineup is being assembled here. We have been under red for quite some time because of Steve Barth's incident down here in turn number 1, but everybody ready to go in. 5 cars are officially out of the race at this time. Kevin Doty, also Corey Kruzman, Dan Pronyne, Dave Darland, and Steve Barth. Those 5 cars out of competition, so 28 remain in the race.
It was interesting to hear everybody say, almost everybody to the man said on the red, that they were tightening up the race car. Billy Boat put on a larger left rear tire. He did that so that he can get better bite off the corner. He took stagger out of the car. Everybody else was doing different things to try to tighten up the race car. The racetrack was much slicker than they had anticipated. Kevin Olson is the only one who told us that he was going to live or die by the bottom of the racetrack. And, you know, that's kind of his style. There were a lot of drivers that did that. You know, it didn't matter what the racetrack was like. They loved to run the bottom. And it looks like that's what he's going to do around here. Tony Stewart, Jason Leffler, Billy Boat, we've seen those guys already. Robbie Flock, we've seen them. They've moved up and down. They've moved any place they thought the racetrack was fastest. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. But the majority of the guys out there obviously think the top is going to be the place to be.
It's kind of interesting to note that the performance by the West Coast drivers, they've come here and are putting on a great show. Leffler and Billy Boat riding right up front there along with Robbie Flock. So West Coast guys putting on a great show here. Now we are a few more laps away from the green flag, so let's try to work another commercial break in here so we can bring you all, or at least most of, the green flag action tonight. 30 laps completed in the Hut 100. About to go back to racing with Tony Stewart at the front of the field.
If you've been running for years,
if you've just started running,
even if you've been thinking about running, Runner's World, the world's #1 running magazine, can help you enjoy running and keep you running so you'll look and feel terrific.
Runner's World will help you lose weight fast
and show you the foods that can boost your energy.
You'll learn secrets for building speed and stamina from top runners and their coaches.
Plus, sports medicine breakthroughs and easy stretches that help prevent injury.
You can get into fantastic shape with just 20 minutes of running 3 times a week.
Call now and receive a free issue of Runner's World.
As a special TV bonus, you'll also receive our exclusive guide, 250 everyday health tips for runners, and a personal training log free.
If you're not thrilled with your first issue, simply cancel and owe nothing. If you love Runner's World, you'll receive a full year, 12 issues in all, plus your free tips book and training log for just 4 easy payments of $4.97. That's 53% off the cover price.
Call 1-800-235-8500.
We've gone back to green here at Terre Haute in the 44th annual Hoosier Lottery Hut 100. Tony Stewart is still leading. This great battle involves Kevin Olson. There is Tony Stewart, the leader, but Olson and Jason Leffler are going at it.
Kevin Olson right around the bottom, Tony Stewart right around the top, and then Jason Leffler right around the top again. Look at those guys are really battling. That's Russ Gamester in the orange car. He's also moved to the very bottom of the racetrack, and it looks like one place is almost as equally fast as another right now.
Inside on the cage cam with Roger McCluskey Jr., the son of the great former national champion, and he's involved in a lot of traffic back there. It looks like that it's going to be very difficult for him to move through this group of cars.
And look at him. He's trying to do a little different place on the racetrack. He's moved up, and then he moved back down, trying to figure out where the wet dirt is. You can see the black places on the racetrack, and you can see the brown places. Where it's brown, there's still some moisture. That's what everybody's trying to get into. He's trying to run that right rear right in the moisture right there. That's the reason he was running a little bit off the corner, trying to get that right rear in the moisture, and it looked like it worked there. He gained a little bit.
Running back in 25th position.
Now he's moving right to the very bottom of the racetrack, trying to gain. But look at Tony Stewart. He's moved out into a pretty good lead.
That was Jimmy Davies that was running right ahead of Roger McCluskey Jr. So a couple of second-generation drivers doing battle there. Yeah, it looks like Tony Stewart is checking out on the field as he has pulled out to a rather lengthy advantage here. And now this battle for second and third is kind of broken off a little bit, although it is still Olson right on the bottom of the racetrack.
And Kenny Irwin obviously helped himself a lot when he tightened up his race car, and he's moved up into second spot, and because he had fallen, I think, back into 5th or 6th before that red flag. Now that he's moved up into second around Jason Leffler, and there you can see 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with Kevin Olson running in 4th spot.
Yeah, so the battle becomes for 3rd between Olson and Leffler. Look at the lead, though, that Tony Stewart has been able to gather here just in the last few laps since we have gone back to green. There is Kenny Irwin Jr., the current points leader in the USAC Skoal Midget standings.
And you can see now that the top of the racetrack is definitely the fastest place to be. You can hear those guys hard on the throttle as they enter the corner. And even though it's a lot shorter around the bottom, there's just no grip down there. It's gotten so black down there, you've got to be up there where the wet dirt is so you can use all that horsepower.
Yeah, the blacker the lines there on the racetrack, the slicker it is. Up where it's brown and wet, there's much more traction, but those black lines there in the middle and low part of the racetrack indicate just how hard and slick that dirt has become.
Tony Stewart runs that cushion to perfection and hard. Oh, he got a little above the cushion right there in the middle of the corner. Had to pull it back down, but he's driving that baby down in the corner pretty hard.
Now we're going to start seeing some fun here in just about another lap, because Stewart is coming up to lap the slower traffic, and it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that slower traffic. Now, most of these guys, it looks like, are running on the bottom of the racetrack, so he may just blow right around him. But on the other hand, it could provide some problems for him.
You can see that was Nate Law that had a flat right rear tire, was pulling into pits the last time they came down the main straightaway. And you're correct. The guys are running in the back of the pack, all running around the bottom of the racetrack, and he's just blowing by him around the top.
And there is the advantage that he enjoys on his teammate. Here comes Kenny Irwin Jr. running in second position. The points leader by 101 points going into this race. There is Russ Gamester and Flock and Knepper,
Yeah, they're in 5th, 6th, and 7th. All three of those guys moved up to the top of the racetrack. Gamester running pretty good up there. Flock, as you know, led early in the race, has moved back to about 6th spot right now.
Caution is out, 5th of the evening, and that's because of a piece of metal, looks like, on the racetrack. Yeah. So that's going to eliminate Tony Stewart's advantage.
That's a muffler. A muffler has fallen off one of the race cars, and oh, that car just ran over. It's a good way to puncture a tire. But there's a muffler that's laying out there. They have to get off of there. If that piece of metal, that muffler gets thrown up into somebody on the racetrack, it could hurt them pretty badly. So it's a wise move to put out the yellow and get that thing off of the racetrack.
We are not quite to the halfway point here, but the situation is here that the caution is out again, and there is the piece of metal that has come off of a car.
Yeah, you can just see it. It's laying out there in the middle of the racetrack. and it's all, you know, it's laying out there. Everybody's trying to go by it. Now somebody's run over it. So before we ever saw it the first time, there was already another piece of it that had been run over. Oh, yeah, that was a big piece of the muffler.
Oh, yeah.
We were just looking at the little piece.
Yeah. I think that was David Bridges that ran over it the first time. In any case, the track officials, as soon as the traffic clears, will go out onto the track and get that thing off of the racetrack, and then we'll be able to go back to racing again. 44 laps have been completed, so we're 6 away from the halfway point. We might point out right now that this race will not end under caution. The last 2 laps have to be under green.
Exactly. They've come to the determination. They used to end this race under the yellow flag. There were a lot of guys. As a matter of fact, Dave Strickland, who you saw get a while ago get inducted into the Hall of Fame, lost this race several years ago because he had just passed the lead. They put him back behind Jim McClung, and then they finished the race under the yellow. He never had the opportunity to go back and climb. So I'm sure he'd have been real happy to see this new rule. We got to run the last 2 laps under the yellow, under the green flag.
There is David Bridges, who we believe was at least one of the cars that ran over that muffler, but I don't think he punctured a tire. Looks like everything's inflated.
Well, it doesn't appear that he did. A lot of times the guys will make a mistake, run out there and just grab a hold of that baby. Well, you don't want to grab a hold of her because she's probably still pretty hot. A lot wiser to kick it off the racetrack than you are to pick it up.
That's for sure. Well, under caution here in Terre Haute, Tony Stewart has the lead, but that full straightaway advantage that he had on his teammate Kenny Irwin is now gone. And when we go back to racing, we're going to see what Irwin and everybody else can do with Tony Stewart. They're the top 5. Leffler is 3rd, Olson 4th, and Tracy Hines 5th.
If you have one of these or one of these, then you're ready for the most useful tool ever invented. Introducing the Roto 7 Power Disc, a disc so strong it can cut through this hardened steel file, power through this brick, zip through copper pipe, and even cut through masonry with ease. The tempered carbide disc cuts right through this iron chain and shears off any nail in its path. Roto 7 not only breezes through ceramic tiles, but even makes rounded corners quickly and easily. Use it on your circular saw to cut smoothly through Formica. No binding, no kickback, and it always leaves a clean, smooth edge. But cutting is just the beginning. Roto 7 will sharpen your tools, even your lawnmower blade, and it'll grind just about anything. All your work comes out clean and burr-free. You get not 1, but 2 power discs. And if you order now, we'll also include this Roto 7 sanding disc. Just look how easily it strips away old paint. Ordinary sanders keep clogging up, but Roto 7's open mesh keeps it running clog-free. You get all 3 discs for only $19.95. So order your Roto 7 now.
Call toll-free 1-800-892-1212. That's 1-800-892-1212. Or send check or money order for $19.95 plus shipping and handling to Roto 7, 2 Morgan Avenue, Norwalk, Connecticut. Or call now 1-800-892-1212.
Every year, the McGinty's go trick-or-treating as Coach Paul Brown. In 1968, Chris wants to go as a pirate. Dad says okay, but it has to be a Paul Brown pirate.
Going green next time, restarting the Hot 100. And don't you love dirt track racing? This is poetry in motion and a skill that few possess.
It's just hard to explain how much fun it is to get up on the cushion, lift the left front wheel off the ground, and feel that baby digging a hold of the racetrack, pulling off the corner. I mean, really, it is a blast.
Call that fun?
Oh, man.
Here's the green. We're back at it. Stewart with a nice jump here and a car sideways and one of them over in turn 4. I believe that's Carl Olson to the right. I'm not sure who has flipped in the 4th turn. The red flag comes out once again.
Yeah, it looked like that's Roger Corrigan, I believe, the 65 car of Roger Corrigan. They got upside down on that restart back there in the back of the pack. And he's moving around in the car, so he's obviously not hurt. But it's a tough break for everybody as they bring out the red flag.
Neither driver is hurt. In fact, they just flipped Corrigan over, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised that he can get back into this race. But the red flag does come out, and everything is stopped 1 lap short of the halfway mark.
Well, I'm a little bit surprised. A lot of times when a car does not tip over very hard, they will just leave the yellow out once they determine that the drivers are okay. And you can see that Corrigan is shaking his head a little bit.
He's got some cobwebs, it looks like. Now watch the right side of your screen here, and maybe we can catch this flip. He's already over.
He was already upside down. It looked like he ran over a wheel back there. Everybody was kind of scrambling around to miss Carl Olson, who had already spun up in front of them. And while they were scrambling around, he just got up over a wheel and flipped over. Couldn't see how hard it was, but he's shaking his head a little bit, so it must have been a little harder than what we had thought, maybe.
He's going to take a trip into the ambulance and get checked out by the safety personnel, medical personnel here, as the action has once again been brought to a halt. Our second flip of the evening, Steve Barth earlier, and now Roger Corrigan down in turn number 4. Tony Stewart got a pretty good jump there when the green came out. He had half a straightaway advantage before everybody else made it.
Well, he certainly did. He had a terrific jump on everybody. It looked like the other guys thought they might drop down to the bottom of the racetrack, use a little psychology on him or maybe trick him a little bit. But obviously, it just didn't work. He just jumped away from him.
Here it is.
You can take a look. If you look back on the bottom right, you might be able to see things happening back there. Not good to see it, but he got a terrific jump on everybody else, as the rest of them just didn't get a very good start. What's happening right here is that the belly pan on this race car is bent up. He has either run over some mud, some debris, or maybe ran over another car. So one of the crew guys is in there. He's jumping up and down on the belly pan, trying to get the belly pan, because when it's up, the brakes won't go down far enough to work, number one, and the throttle won't go down far enough to get you going. So they've got to get in there, get the belly pan pushed back down so that all the pedals in there work properly.
Take a look at the top 10. 49 of the 100 laps have been completed. Stewart, Irwin, Leffler, Olson, and Hines 1 through 5, 6 through 10. Gamester, Flock, Knepper, Billy Boat, and Randy Cook. Boats dropped back from where he was running.
Well, Billy Boat obviously made the wrong decision on that last red flag. It's probably lucky for him that another red flag has come out. Now then he's got a chance to make another change, because he was running up about 5th spot, doing very well until he made some changes, and now then he's dropped back to 9th. So I imagine he's happy to see this red flag.
Here's Dave with Tracy Hines.
Yeah, we're going to go over and check up with Tracy, who's running 5th. A lot of cars in here getting some additional adjustments. So again, the red flag can help you in a situation like this. Let's see what Tracy's got planned here. Looks like they're going to put a pillow in there. What, are you having a rough ride tonight, huh?
No, we got the car jacked up so high and the air cleaners, and I'm only like 5'6". I can't see over it. And I'm trying to run the bottom. I got to see the left front before I hit the rail. So they got me up high enough that we could see. So we're doing all right. If it wasn't for that bat, we had to qualify like 49th out of 54. We still ended up 10th fast, so we're pretty good.
So the car's looking pretty good. Are you thinking that the bottom's going to keep working for you?
It has so far, but my tires are perfect. Danny Drinan's kind of my teammate, loaned me a left rear when we came in on the last deal because we had a too soft one. And the Dave Calderwood Wheeler truck body MP service car is flying. Brayton Motors running good. Beast chassis working. So McCreary tires, they're going to hold up. We should be all right.
Take a look there in the seat, Brad. Show him he's got I don't know if we got enough light to see it. They put a blanket down in there to get Hines enough elevation that he can see that rail and stay out of trouble on the bottom. This is the second-ranked driver in the midget points with a little modification out of the norm here as we're under red for the second time tonight in the Hot 100. And we'll be getting back to the action here momentarily at Terre Haute.
Straight talk about hair restoration with Dr. L. Lee Bosley.
How natural is a hair transplant from Bosley Medical?
Now, in highly skilled hands, a hair transplantation can become virtually undetectable. Many of my patients have reported that even their own barbers or hairstylists are unable to detect that they've had hair restoration performed.
How dramatic are the results?
Some years ago, we here at Bosley Medical had a patient who had gone to his 10th high school reunion and had been voted the baldest man in his class. We restored his hair, and when he went to his 20th high school reunion, he was voted the man with the best head of hair in his class.
Don't wait another day to do something about your hair loss. Call 1-800-414-4900 now for this free guidebook and video from the Bosley Medical Institute. That's 1-800-414-4900. It could be one of the most rewarding calls you ever make.
Do you want to make more money? Of course, we all do. So call this toll-free number to find out how easy it is to train at home for a better career. At ICS, more than 10 million men and women have trained for job promotions and new careers without ever setting foot inside a classroom. And now, at home in your spare time, you can get your career diploma or even your degree. Choose from any one of these courses. Then call toll-free for free information about training with ICS.
Call 1-800-626-2500 right now for free information.
Hey, we're back live at Terre Haute. We're under red. We'll get right back to the green momentarily. It's our last show of the year. We're glad Darrell Waltrip is watching, the driver of the 17 Winston Cup car. We had fun in all the usual places and fun in a couple of new places this year, and we'll leave this season with a lot of great memories.
And now Boat goes to the top. Here they come off the fourth corner. Boat takes the lead momentarily. Yes, he's got it.
Now, boys and girls, can you say slide job? Yeah, and from Ventura, it's back to Indiana.
He's going to make a race out of it. They come down to the line.
Oh, my gosh, they went through there side by side.
I think Bliss won.
Whoa, big time.
Oh, and a bad upside down. And a big fire. Jimmy Sills wins the Silver Crown race here at Richmond.
We also remember Winchester, wild rides, and winners. They remain our heroes. They still live for the sound of thunder. And tonight they're doing business in a very special place, the Action Track Terre Haute, Indiana. And I think Jenkins and Rice summed it up pretty well. It's poetry in motion, and it's a whole lot of fun. We're going to crank them up and get back to it here in just a moment. Stay with us.
The new Coors Light can is attracting a lot of attention. It has a wider mouth, so you can enjoy more of the cold taste of the Rockies. Get ready to quench your giant thirst with the new wide-mouth can from Coors Light.
Did soccer discover America, or did America finally discover soccer? Either way, soccer is here in a big way, and it's here for good. The MLS on ESPN2. Action continues when the Colorado Rapids take on the LA Galaxy. Tonight at 10:30 on ESPN2. The MLS on ESPN2. Finally, America gets it.
Welcome back to the Action Track in Terre Haute, Indiana. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Larry Rice and Dave Despain, and we are at the halfway point of our race, getting ready for the restart after our second red flag. Stewart is the leader, Kenny Irwin second, then Jason Leffler, Kevin Olson, Tracy Hines. In sixth position is Russ Gamester, then Robbie Flock, Steve Knepper, Billy Bode, and Randy Cook. In 11th position is Kevin Thomas, then Dan Borse, Andy Pierce, Ryan Newman, and Brian Gerster. And 16 through 20, Lehman, Davis, Kite, Donaldson, and Bridges. David.
I don't know if we can get another word with Kevin Olson here. He's being pushed down into the line. I wanted to update the story we did on the last red flag because his car, which was working pretty well on the bottom early, is not working so well now, and he's been going backwards. And I don't know if we're going to get a chance to do this or not because he is just about ready to be pushed out onto the racetrack and return to the wars. I think our interview is going to leave us behind cameraman may stay with him for a minute, but the push truck is there, so we're not going to get a chance to talk to Kevin. The update on Robbie Flock is this. He was 6th at the time of the red flag, but has elected to change the right rear. So he's going to go all the way to the back, hoping that that change will enable him to get enough speed to get back up to where he was and better in the last 50 laps. Sounds like a gamble to me, eh, Rice?
Yeah, it's a pretty big gamble. I tell you, it's a long way to go when you're back in about, I think there's 26 or 27 cars still running. So he's got a long way to go, a lot of territory to make up. However, if he started the race with a tire that was too soft and it wasn't going to be there at the end, he had absolutely nothing to lose by doing that.
The Kart IndyCar Championship is about to be wrapped up. This has turned into a pretty doggone good battle for the title. It'll be concluded at the Toyota Grand Prix of Monterey, live on ESPN at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Boy, Jimmy Vasser got off to such a great start in the season, but has kind of taken a downward slide. Can he hold on to win the championship? You can find it at 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Now, Speed Week will be on Saturday afternoon at 6:30. We were not on the air last week at all because of the unfortunate situation at Indianapolis Raceway Park and the death of Lane Johnson. But we will be back at 6:30 on Saturday. And don't forget, here on The Deuce Sunday morning at 7:45 Eastern Time, live coverage from Monza of the Grand Prix of Italy. Now, Robbie Flock changes tires, goes to the rear of the field.
Yes, and like I said, this is a Rusty Kuhn's car. This is a car that is a very, very good race car on the dirt, but they obviously thought they either had a problem with the right rear or they chose the wrong tire to begin with. He was very, very fast for the first 4 or 5 laps, if you remember, and then steadily was going back. So they might have just chosen too soft a tire. It might have been wearing out, and you know, there's no sense in going out there and running on a tire that you know is only going to last another 20 or 30 laps when you got 50 laps to go.
So we're just about ready for the restart. Kevin Olsen was one of the last to be pushed off, and he is catching up with the rest of the field as we speak. And so before too long, everybody's going to be in position, and the green flag is going to come out once again.
You can see what a great crowd they've got up there in the grandstands. You got to give it hats off to these guys down here to promote the action track. Wednesday night's a tough sell on the school night back in Indiana, but they've got a lot of people in this place here.
There's the field going down the main straightaway. No indication that they're going green next time around, so it'll be at least one more lap. There's our camera crew down in the infield.
Yeah.
What are you doing on the racetrack?
Brad's got his shirt on. He's showing everybody, man.
Thanks, Brad.
Brad's he's really a great camera guy. He gets out there and gets dirty, you know. He gets low shots down in the dirt. He'll do anything for a good camera shot. And he's very good at what he does.
What, Despain?
He's my cameraman, and I want you to know that I wasn't out there. He can go out there and get dirty and stand in front of those race cars if he wants to. I'm inside the guardrail, boy.
I noticed that.
I'm going to be here I'm going to be in this business for longer than he is.
Set to go back to racing here in the Hut 100.
You can see that there are 2-lap cars between Tony Stewart and Kenny Irwin. So Irwin's got to dispense those 2-lap cars before he has a chance to make any kind of a challenge. Leffler right behind him. The rest of the field falls in behind. So the guys back in the back who made some changes going to try to move up pretty quickly.
Here we go. Green flag comes out, and Tony Stewart from the inside of turn number 4 goes right to the outside of the racetrack, hangs the car up there on the cushion, and again pulls away from just about everybody. There's the interval. He's opened up already over Kenny Irwin, and here comes Jason Leffler.
Leffler hanging on pretty good to Kenny Irwin as they're coming up there high, wide, and handsome 2 and 3 and 4. Those first 3, 4, 5 cars. Tracy Hines back there in that number 7 car running in 5th. Everybody running on the top of the racetrack.
Yeah, all the fast cars at least. All the lap cars are hugging the pole down on the left of your screen as the top guys are working the cushion.
And as we say that, Tracy Hines seems to be moving back down in the middle of the racetrack. There's 1, 2, and 3. Tracy Hines running in fourth right there, running right smack in the middle of the racetrack, and seems to be running pretty fast there.
Yeah, he is. Here he comes in the number 7 car, the black with the yellow numerals, and he is right in the middle of the racetrack. Look behind him, one car way up over the cushion, almost into the wall, but saving it.
Here we got 3 and 4 cars abreast. There's Kevin Olson in the 66 car. He's moving up again.
That was Randy Cook that got way up by the wall there in car number 2, and now he pulls alongside of Hines and makes a race out of it for position.
And remember, Randy Cook was one of the guys, he won one of the heat races. So he started back in about 10th or 11th spot. So he's moved up a long way as he goes around Hines. That's Bowden, that red and white on the outside there too. And he seems to be making a move back towards the front after falling back to 9th.
Yeah, I just don't understand why Tracy is down there on the bottom, because obviously it is not working. He's already lost 2 positions here just in the last few laps.
Well, he's been running right in the middle of the racetrack. Now he's moved back down to the very, very bottom of the racetrack. That might be faster. Kevin Olson also in that white 66 is running in the same spot, but doesn't seem to be the fastest way right now. That was Kevin Thomas in that black and white number 11, one of the Wilkie cars that has just gone around. And look at Irwin. He's caught up with Tony Stewart.
He sure has. Since the green flag has come out, it has not been a runaway as it was earlier. Tony Stewart. In fact, Irwin is hanging right there with him. So the teammates are first and second, and are separated by only about 4 or 5 car lengths, and both of them are up top.
Yes, they are. Both of them running almost identical crews right in the same place. Irwin really doing a nice job. Kenny Irwin, you must remember, was a pavement specialist who moved to the dirt. It's much more difficult, in my opinion, to move. Whoa, and look at this. Stewart got a little bit of a bobble up there, and Kenny Irwin is right on his bumper.
Now he's going to go to the bottom and try the old slide.
Oh, my gosh. They took each other out.
Can you believe it? They have taken each other out of the 100.
Oh, my gosh. Kenny Irwin tried the slide job. Tony Stewart tried to pull down under him and misjudged it and ran over his left rear wheel.
Can you believe this? Well,
I'll tell you what, there's got to be one guy that's more dejected than those two, and that's got to be Steve Lewis, who owns those 2 race cars.
Boy, they were running first and second and putting on a great show, and I'll be doggone. Kenny Irwin went to the bottom, tried to pull up in front of Stewart with a slide job, and the 2 collided.
You could see it coming. You knew what he was going to do when he headed for the bottom of the racetrack. Stewart had messed up down there in the corner, giving him a little run. You could see him going down there. You just knew he was going to give him this big San Jose slide job right up in front of him. Stewart tries to slow down and cut underneath him. Yep. He just misjudged it just ever so slightly and ran up over the left rear. I don't think he wanted to do it without getting on the brakes, so he didn't get the car all messed up and out of shape. Tony Stewart just didn't have quite enough room to pull off the move, and it cost both of them a lot of positions.
He's lucky he really didn't get launched over the wheel and go tumbling down the backstretch. But is Irwin maybe thinking about restarting here? I think that Tony may be damaged the suspension in that little deal, but Irwin may be okay.
Well, you must remember Tony Irwin's in the point standing, so he's probably get back out there and try to restart and run and get whatever points he can. Obviously, he's a couple of laps down anyway at this point, and he's not going to make a great deal of points. He's not going to gain a lot of positions back, but he's going to do what he can. Tony Stewart, on the other hand, I'd be very surprised if he gets restarted, tries to go back out there.
Okay, here we go with the replay once again, and this is up in turn number 4 when the cars got really close.
Tony Stewart got way up above the cushion. He got all sideways, just jumped the cushion. He gave Irwin the opportunity to catch up with him. Once Irwin saw it, he's smart enough to know he's not going to get very many chances to pass Tony Stewart. This might be the only one of the night, might be the only mistake that Tony Stewart makes. So he gives it everything he's got. He didn't give Tony Stewart very much room, hardly any at all, as a matter of fact. He was almost stopped in the racetrack. Stewart tried to cut down under him and miss him. They both actually misjudged a little bit. Irwin didn't quite get in front of him far enough, as much as he wanted. Tony Stewart didn't have enough room to make that move down to the bottom as he thought he did.
Well, looks like Tony's going to be okay too. I thought I saw the wheel cock so as to indicate a breakage of the suspension, but apparently he's okay. He's kind of running as fast as he can under caution to make sure that the car is okay and he can go back to racing.
Well, that's exactly what he's trying to do. Make sure there's nothing bent or broken that's going to put him back. The lucky guy here, Jason Leffler, 97 car. Puts him in first place. And look at Randy Cook. All the way from the 10th spot up to second. And Billy Boat running in third position.
Good run for Randy Cook, who last weekend, again, we mentioned, won the Badger Championship up in the state of Wisconsin. There are now 6 through 10. Tracy Hines running in 6th position. Kenny Irwin is 1 lap down and Stewart 3 laps down. David?
They didn't work on either one of those cars to any great extent. It looked like the impact would have been sufficient to damage one or perhaps both of those cars, but they didn't work on them. They basically just got the push truck over there and pushed them both off. So they're going to be at the back, laps down, but at least they're going to postpone the lecture from Bob East a little bit here as they get to finish out the race. There was a crew member down here who was big unhappy.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that, you know, there's not very many people in that crew right now that's going to be very happy. And, you know, it's a pretty good thinking, Dave. They probably are just staying out there so they don't have to listen to anything for a few laps because there's going to be some unhappy people in that pit area.
60 laps down, 40 to go. Here are the final point standings of the Badger Midget Auto Racing Association. These guys run up in Wisconsin in that area, and man, they have a great series up there. Dan Borst finished 2nd in the point standings, 8 behind Randy. Scott Hatton was 3rd, Kevin Olson 4th, and Mike Fell was 5th in the point standings.
And of course, 3 of those 5 are running in the top 10 here tonight. Cook, Borst, and Olson all running in the top 10 somewhere. So they're all 3 doing a very good job. That's the 88 car there. That's Dan Borst. He's running in 9th place. Of course, Kevin Olson we've already seen running up in about 5th or 6th spot right now in the white number 66. And Kevin Cook running in 2nd and on the move.
David?
Tony and Kenny are having a little conversation of their own. Last time by, as we get set to go back to green, they were side by side. I don't read sign language, but there was some conversation going on.
Stewart is out of the car and out of the race, so he is not a happy race driver. He throws his gloves and unstraps the helmet, and it's very obvious that Tony Stewart is an unhappy race driver. Back to green.
I think he got restarted just so he could pull up along Tony Stewart and let him know what he thought of that little move down there.
I mean, Kenny.
Kenny Irwin, I'm sorry. And there is Billy Boat in the red and white number 3 running in 3rd. But look at Jason Leffler. He has pulled out to 7 or 8 or 9 car lengths lead over Kevin Cook. Boat running in 3rd. And after that, 3 or 4 cars all battling each other.
Yep, here is Randy Cook running in 2nd. There is Billy Boat. And right behind him would be
Steve Knepper's in the 48 car. Down on the bottom is Kevin Olson. Boy, it's a long way around the top of that racetrack right now. You really got to be able to get a hold of the racetrack and pull ahead. Now Knepper's going to go to the bottom. He's going to try that little bit of a slide job.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. He didn't pull it off.
He didn't, you know. That was a very wise move. He didn't go in there hard enough to really go up there. He still had a little bit of room to leave Billy Boat enough room to get by out there, which is exactly what happened. I think that was just a test. The next time, now he knows exactly how far he can go. The next time he tries that, he'll try it a little bit harder and get a little more better run on it.
Billy Boat maintaining 3rd position here. That is Olson once again down on the bottom side of the racetrack, working the pole. Here is Boat trying to hold off Knepper. He may have the position this time. Knepper gets it sideways a little bit. Nope.
Not enough room. He just didn't have enough speed to carry him through and up in front of him. You know, again, I think Knepper's doing a wise thing there. He's just kind of testing the middle of the racetrack. He knows he's not going to lose a lot of ground, just seeing how much grip is down there. A little later, he may be able to use that to his advantage in some last traffic.
There is Robbie Flock. He is up to 9th position. Now, remember, during one of the reds, he changed a tire, changed the right rear, and that put him to the back of the pack, but he's made steady progress and now running 9th. Got into the cushion there a little bit, 3, though.
Well, you know, it was a smart move. Obviously, he and Rusty Cooch knew exactly what they were doing when they changed that tire because, you know, he has moved a long way up, and he was going backwards before that. If you remember, he was leading. He was clear back to 8th or 9th position when that red flag came out and when he changed that tire.
And now now he's coming up on Russ Gamester there in the orange car as they head for turn number 1. Gamester also working up on the cushion. We understand that Bob East has asked for the black flag to be displayed to Kenny Irwin, so we got all kinds of interesting stories here tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, they have absolutely no chance to run better than about 20th position. I mean, there's just no way. Obviously, they don't think it's worth going out there running another 30 or 40 laps. But Jason Leffler, he was really up next to the fence going down that back straightaway. Looked like he was having a little bit of trouble. But, you know, right there, there's no sense of him getting in trouble. Looked like he might be in a little trouble right there. So he's just going to pull that thing in and say, hey, let's save the engine, let's save the car, let's save everything else, and just get it off the racetrack.
So Kenny Irwin will pull out of the race after being involved in an incident with his teammate a few laps ago that took both of them out as they were battling for the lead. We have completed 70 laps now. 30 to go. We're on board with Roger McCluskey Jr. once again.
Taking a look and ride with him down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Again, he's right in the middle of the racetrack. That's David Bridges right in front of him. Now he moves down to the bottom, tries to get a grip off the bottom of the racetrack to get a run on Bridges, but doesn't gain a whole lot. You can really see how they have to work the wheel, though. You can see the shocks working on the front. Even though it looks pretty smooth out there, the racetrack has got some ridges in it. It's hard to run over those ridges, keep the race car straight, and there's no real holes or big bumps, but it's still pretty difficult to run.
There is the leader of the race, Jason Leffler, as he now completes lap number 73. 27 more laps to go for Leffler, who's come here from the West Coast. Now, there is Tony Stewart talking with Bob East, and those are the reactions a while ago.
Yeah, doesn't look like either one of those two guys are real happy with the situation, to be real honest.
So Leffler continues to hang on to the lead. Leffler from Long Beach, California, and Nate Law has spun in the middle of the 4th corner, bringing out another caution, and this is the 8th of the evening. That includes the 2 reds that we have had.
Well, this is going to bunch the field up again. This is a break for a guy like Robbie Block, who's trying to work his way back up from the back of the pack, and some of the other guys who had some difficulties earlier in the night. But Jason Leffler certainly seems to have things under control. Randy Cook still running in 2nd. Billy Boat still running in 3rd. But Jason Leffler really looks like the fastest guy on the racetrack right now.
Here's what happened to Nate Law. He ran up on somebody there in the 4th corner.
Yeah, he just got up over a wheel, and that looks like Jimmy Kites, number 57, that he got up over. And once he got up in the air, the front end, the back end came around. He just spun around, and he's okay, but he's going to get restarted.
Let's take a look at the top 5. It is Jason Leffler leading, Cook 2nd, Billy Boat 3rd, Steve Knepper 4th, and Kevin Thomas 5th. 74 laps are completed. Dave has Kenny Irwin.
Well, Kenny, I know that's one you'd like to have back. Tell me what was going through your mind and how it turned out.
Well, Tony, I just kept gaining on him, and you know, it's just a bad deal. The 2 Beast cars were the fastest cars out there tonight, and I slid up, and he was there. I don't know. You know, I guess it's. I don't know. I thought that, you know, when I slid up, he might be able to get back around me, or what the deal was. It's just a bad deal, and I'm sorry for Bob, and I'm sorry for Tony, but I don't know.
What'd you guys say? You got out of the car, walked over to him, and you guys had a little private conversation. You want to share any of that with us, or is that none of our business?
I just told him, you know, what I thought I was doing, and he, you know, he thought that was the racing deal. So that's what we said.
It's Kenny Irwin. Hey, man, he hit the fence trying to get around him, and Tony has gone the other direction. We may or may not get him here. We'll try in a minute. He's gone to the pits. Okay. We're going to take a commercial break and come back with more. We're live at an action-packed event on the action track. Stay with us.
Sprint's dime-a-minute rate is getting rave reviews.
Sprint Cents is great. I can call my sister in Kansas for only 10 cents a minute.
Now I call my folks in New York 3 times a week. For just a dime a minute, why not? That's right. All over the country, people have been signing up for Sprint's simple low rate. Call now and you'll pay just 10 cents a minute on state-to-state calls every evening, every night, and all weekend long.
We've got a daughter in college in Los Angeles, so 10 cents a minute is terrific for us.
And it's just 10 cents a minute to Canada on weekends. So what are you waiting for? Call now.
Know what I like best? When I call back home, I'm earning 10% cash back.
It's like a great big tip at the end of the year. And Sprint's dime a minute rate is good forever. So call now.
Dime a minute? I rate it at 10.
You just can't beat Sprint cents. Get a dime a minute and 10% cash back. Call now. 1-800-913-9730.
Toronto takes on Hamilton tomorrow night at midnight. The Canadian Football League on ESPN2. Radically Canadian.
We have not restarted the race yet. We are going to soon. Nate Law is the reason for our most recent caution. He spun down in corner number 4. Now there you see a conversation between driver Kenny Irwin on the right and Bob East on the left. And I would like to know what they're talking about.
Kenny Irwin said, doggone it, I want you to come to my house for Thanksgiving. I don't want to come to your house this year.
Yeah, I think you probably nailed that conversation right on the head. Well, in any case, here are the top 5. It's Leffler, Cook, Boat, Knepper, and Thomas. Let's take a look at the top 10 since we're here. Olson, Hines, Gamester, Block, and Brian Newman. David, what can you find out for us down there?
Bob East, they asked me to ask you if you guys were debating whose house you were going to spend Thanksgiving at. What are you telling him here?
I was just telling him the reason that we pulled him in, being 2 or 3 laps down, we have a lot of races to go. This track is real hard on motors. The track's getting pretty treacherous for a lot of cars out there, and I didn't see any sense in staying out there and wearing out our stuff when we're trying to win a championship, and there's a lot of races to go.
Well, you got a situation like this where you got 2 teammates, they're going for the lead, they tangle up. How do you react to that as a car owner?
Well, first you get very frustrated, but you know, they're out there racing, and there's no number 1 or number 2 guy, and they're just out there racing as hard as they can race. Things like that happen sometimes when we had the 2 fastest cars in the race, and they both wanted to win.
All right, we're going back to green. I guess it's better to have it happen when you're 1-2 than 12th and 13th.
And it's nice that he can look at it in that perspective. But boy, those cars that hung in there, he could have walked home with a pocket full of money tonight. Green flag, back to racing. 70, make that 81 laps have been completed. 19 to go in the 44th annual 100. What a race it has been. Leffler is up front. Cook second, and there's third place Billy Boat. There's
Jason Leffler gets up above the cushion. You can see that cushion's getting a little bit of a ledge on it. You get up above it like that, he gives Randy Cook a big shot. That's exactly what Tony Stewart did just before Kenny Irwin gave him that big slide job. Randy Cook was a little nicer than Jason Leffler right there. He tried to slip in under him just a little bit and didn't quite get it pulled off. But he can't make that same mistake very many times, so Randy Cook's going to take advantage of it.
Randy Cook started in 10th position in row number 4. He's from Madison, Wisconsin. I thought he was going to make a run there for a moment, but now he's dropped back a couple of car lengths. Billy Boat continues to run in 3rd place, but he too has dropped back from 2nd place. Cook, there's Billy.
Yep, Billy Boat, he is running good. That's another one of us. Oh, now Cook, look how close he gets to the fence when he gets above that cushion. That thing is moved way, way up the racetrack. It's almost at the fence. But it doesn't take much of a mistake to get right in the end of the fence, and then you're in big trouble here at this racetrack.
We got a pretty good cushion down here in 1 and 2. It's a long way from the outside wall, but the cushion is pushed up against the wall, up at the guardrail in turns 3 and 4, and the guys are having to get way up by the wall. Well, there they avoided getting up over the cushion at least that time.
As you can see, almost everybody. There's Russ Gamester. He's running back in about 5th or 6th spot. Look at Randy Cook, though. He sure isn't giving up, and it looks like Billy Boat might be gaining on those 2 guys as well.
Yes, indeed. Now Cook is within just a couple of car lengths and certainly has a run going at Leffler. He closes up on him again in the 4th turn. Here they come out of the corner and onto the straightaway. Jason Leffler holds the advantage at the moment, and the laps are clicking by. 86 completed now.
Well, you can see that Jason Leffler's still a little faster down in 1 and 2. But down in 3 and 4, where he jumped the cushion, he's been very cautious. He's staying down off of that cushion. Randy Cook's got nothing to lose. He moves right up on the top, and when he moves up there, he seems to be just a little bit faster down there. Now then, Cook moves down a little bit.
Just a little bit. Now off of the corner onto the straightaway once again. Jason Leffler continues to hang on to the lead, but Randy Cook is right there within a couple of car lengths.
Well, I'll tell you what, right behind them, Kevin Olson, who told us he was going to run the bottom, has still been running the bottom, and he's moved up to challenge Billy Boat right now. As you can see him in that white car back there on the right side of your screen.
Look at this. Cook may have a shot at him this time. He may try the slide job.
This is going to be it. Same exact thing. Let's see who wins.
Well, he comes out of there with the lead, and yeah, he's got it down the backstretch.
Wow, that one worked. The other one didn't. That's the only difference. There's absolutely no difference in those two slide jobs. This one just worked. The other one didn't. That's all you can say.
Randy Cook has taken the lead with now coming up on 11 laps to go. And now the question is, might Jason Leffler be waiting to try the same move here before this race is over? He's staying right on the tail of the Cook car.
Well, he has the hair standing up on the back of his neck. I'm sure he's not very happy. He knows that he just got snookered there a little bit when he got a little bit too easy coming off of turn 4. Now then, he's going to try to come back and do the same thing. Well, I'll tell you what, he had an idea right there. He started to move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, he sure did, but he's staying right there with Cook.
And he's still faster through 1 and 2. That was 1 and 2, and he did gain through 1 and 2 on Randy Cook.
Gets a little bit sideways out of the second corner and loses a little bit of momentum. And so drops back a couple of car lengths, but Cook also with a slight problem in turn number 4, getting the car sideways, and that allows Leffler to close right back in.
Well, I'm telling you, these two guys are really battling each other, but look down on the bottom. Low and slow, Kevin Olson, I think he's gaining on both of them. And those guys, it's just getting to be such a long way around the top of the racetrack. Kevin Olson said he's going to stick with it, right or wrong. And right now, it looks like he might be...
Caution is out, Larry. Caution is out. Carl Olson has stopped down on the main straightaway off of corner number 4, and so the caution comes out on lap number 92. Wow.
Boy, I'll tell you what, if I'm in the pits of either one of those two guys running 1 and 2, I gotta be at least letting them know that Kevin Olson is really smoking on the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, he sure is.
But what can you do about it? If you're leading the race and you're running fast on the top, are you going to move down? Heck no, I'm not.
No way.
I'm going to make somebody go around me before I move out of my spot, I'll tell you that.
But it's amazing that he has been able to stay up running that bottom line, and I mean, he is right on the inside guardrail.
And I don't know why they just didn't push him back in the video. You know, why should you take time to push him off when all he did was stop down there?
Yeah.
If he wanted to make a pit stop, he could have pulled to the inside of the racetrack and done that. Or into the inside. He's already lost a couple of laps.
There is the trophy that awaits the winner of the Hut 100, a very prestigious auto race that is about to come to an end here tonight. Now, these laps are counting under caution, but remember, the last two, at least the last two, will be run under green. This is how Randy Cook got the lead from Jason Leffler.
Well, you can see if you played this and the Kenny Irwin, Tony Stewart 2 passes back, this part of it would be absolutely identical, except Randy Cook came up in front of him about 2 car lengths farther in front of Leffler than Kenny Irwin did. And when Leffler tried to get back down under him, he had enough room to try to get underneath him. It was a great pass. It's just a Cook pulled his pass off with just a little bit more room than did Kenny Irwin.
And before that, just some really great dirt track racing. Look at the wheels cock the opposite direction as the cars broad slide around the corners. That's good stuff. All right, green flag here. Oh, Leffler looks like he bumped Cook there on the start. May have lost a position as Billy Boat goes to second. And now Boat challenging for the lead. He's got him. Something is wrong with Cook, or is there a... Yeah, the green is still out. I thought maybe they were slowing down because a caution comes out, but no, it is Boat that has got the lead.
Randy Cook. No, it's not. It's Kevin Olson that's got the lead. Running low and slow. He's leading this race. Boat got into first momentarily, but he did not keep the lead.
Well, now is he going to be able to hang on to this lead on the bottom of the racetrack as Cook pulls into the pit area? Is he going to be able to hang on to the lead using that low line in the last few laps?
Tough break for Randy Cook as he pulls out. Look at Leffler. He's on the high side. Look at the next three guys. That's Olson. That's Tracy Hines. And that's Billy Boat all running the bottom of the race. But Leffler still able to hang on to second place running high. Man, oh man, 3 laps to go.
And just as you said, it is a long way around up there on the outside of the racetrack. And now Olson comes up ahead of Jason Leffler there in the backstretch. But Olson once again takes it down to the guardrail as he Leffler almost bumped the wall if he didn't. And the 2-lap mark is out.
2 laps to go, and man, oh man, you got to give Kevin Olson a lot of credit. He said, right or wrong, I'm going to do this on the bottom. He's done exactly what he said he was going to do. He's made it work. Leffler's still running faster. He's a lot faster around the top. It's just a lot farther around up there, and I don't know. It's going to be tough for him to pull this off.
Oh, man. Kevin Olson said he was going to live or die by the low line, and right now he is living on top of the world. Let's see what happens in the final lap. 1 more lap to go. They're halfway around, and Olson has a huge lead down the backstretch, and I believe he's going to do it. He hangs to the bottom of the racetrack once again, while Jason Leffler, there he is, goes up top. It's just too far around up there. Off the 4th corner, and Kevin Olson wins the 44th annual 100.
Man, oh man, I don't think there's a guy in the pit area that would have thought you could have won this race running on the bottom of the racetrack. Either the first red flag or the second red flag or any of the red flags except that man right there. He said he was going to do it on the bottom. He lived by it. Hey, he might be president one of these days. You never know.
Oh, he's got some money to put in that light bulb repair business that he runs. Kevin Olson has won it. Just an unbelievable race here this evening and a great way to conclude our Thunder Series for 1996. We'll be back to talk with him in just a moment.
Just what does it take to get in shape and stay that way? If you think you need to go to a gym to lose weight, get in shape, and have a body like this, think again. This is Bowflex, a real workout at home that's so good, we guarantee results in 6 weeks or your money back. Think about it. You could get results like tighter abs, finer lines, a stronger chest, and more defined legs in only 6 weeks. It's not magic, it's Bowflex. All of the most effective exercises, plus a great aerobic rowing feature, ready for a quick workout whenever you are. Nothing could be easier. The results you want are only 6 weeks away. Don't think about it anymore. Take action. Call us and ask for a free video and brochure on the machine that works like an entire gym, but fits anywhere in your home.
Ever wonder what makes Ken Griffey Jr. so sweet?
I feel a lot of love in the park today.
It's his honey frosted Wheaties, frosted flakes with a grand slam taste.
You know, you should smile more.
We thank you for joining us this half hour. There is a lot more Eyewitness News ahead. Let's go down to Walter Cryan for a look at Eyewitness News at 6.
Our pension system. Planting trees in South Carolina will continue our live coverage. Plus more on the issue of English as our official language. We'll look at both sides.
Leffler second, Tracy Hines, Donnie Lehman, and Andy Pierce complete the top 5. What a race it was. Boat is 6th, followed by Knepper, Kevin Thomas, Ryan Newman, and Robbie Flock. Dave, it's all yours.
Well, he led the laps that mattered. Kevin Olson, after 20 years of trying, has won this baby. And there's oil pouring out of this thing all over. What is all the oil, anyway?
That's from my hair.
How long have you been trying to win this thing?
About 1973, man. This is really neat. You know, other than my family, this is the most important thing that could happen to me tonight.
You said you were going to live or die by the bottom of the racetrack. Did you really think that it was going to work?
I thought it was a good shot. It would late in the race. It's the last couple times we were down here, last 10 laps, it would go that way. But I talked to Sleepy Trip this morning. He told me if I come off the bottom, he was going to slap me. So,
biggest win of your career, maybe, or at least somewhere in the top 2 or 3.
Oh, it's up there. You know, this is tradition, and you know, we sure happy to win this. Bowling people.
Reasons
tonight's race has been postponed. There have been heavy rains and high winds in the Richmond area. Several parts of the city are still without power and could be without power for another 24 hours. Power was actually knocked out here at the track as well. So the race has been rescheduled for 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon, and we will have live coverage of the Autolite 250 on ESPN. There's a full day of track activity scheduled for Saturday, including the running of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series Miller 400. Live coverage of the Miller 400 begins at 7:30 Saturday night on ESPN. Again, tonight's race has been postponed, rescheduled for Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow with the running of the Miller 400 live on ESPN.
This was a scene this morning.